Let's speak on food brands and how wild they get on Twitter. How wild they get in general. So
Food
basically,
brands. Oh yeah.
like fast food brands. Sorry. Let's speak on fast food brands and how they
Mm.
go crazy on each other on Twitter. Now, the main one that I think of was Wendy's back in the day.
Oh, I love
I remember
Wendy's.
like 8 years ago when they were like dunking on everybody and their mama. I remember not just cause so they would have this thing where like they would respond to customers and stuff, and they would dunk on them back.
Mm.
But it got crazy when they started like dunking on actual other fast food competitors.
Mm.
So like it'd be like Burger King that came out with their thing saying like some Whopper stuff, and they go like, "Oh, so it's finally not frozen," blah blah, blah something like that. And I just think that brands on brands on Twitter or brands on any social media when they are beefing slash interacting with each other, it always makes for like a spectacle kind of thing.
Mm. Yeah.
And so let me just pull it up. Here we go.
I loved Wendy's back in the day. I mean, not so much the food, but
Yeah.
just how they were on social media. They were savage, and I think like they were so ahead of the curve back then.
Yeah.
They were just willing to try shit, and I
Yeah.
think that's why that like made them so different compared to the rest.
Yeah. So
Like,
yeah.
It's
go ahead.
it's just like I feel like now people are trying to do it,
Yeah.
but I feel like when there's a clear difference between you and the rest of the industry,
Yeah.
that's when it pops off the most.
Especially back in the day where like everything was super polished
Yeah,
for like these big corporations
yeah.
that you can never like type in like all lowercase letters and be like lol and like throw emojis and stuff like
Lol.
I don't know like so like Burger King had this tweet where they said this is back in 2017 flame grilling is hard to resist, and then Wendy's replied with yeah for people who like frozen beef. And just shit like that like and the interactions on Wendy's tweet would always get like double if not triple what the original tweet got. And it built like a cult fan base, to be honest, for like a good 3-4 years. I feel like they've slowed down now, or maybe it's just like everybody does it now.
Maybe they just have a different guy running it because I'm like I remember reading up about this because like I run the comms management team here and like we do research on how other brands do stuff as well. And yeah, like there's this one guy who's doing an interview about like just kind of his approach. Like he works for Wendy's and he was the guy behind the thing.
Yeah.
And like he was just kind of saying that like they just kind of said to him, do whatever, and he was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he
Say
just
no more.
and then he was like, say less. And then he just started doing it. Could be just that there's a different guy in charge.
Yeah. But like imagine like back then, like before they started that, it would have been such a big risk to take. Like imagine getting everybody in that company on board with the fact that like, okay, now I'm just gonna start throwing jabs at like McDonald's and Burger King, knowing like you're a much smaller brand and like it could backfire so hard.
I feel like it only really works on underdog brands.
Yeah.
Because like if you're a big boy, if you're McDonald's,
Yeah.
if you're McDonald's and you're doing that, people would just call you a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna kind of be the underdog. So if you're not the underdog, and I think the other thing which with Wendy is the fact that like they're like almost like a legacy brand. Like they've been around for so long. Like if you're just a brand that opened like 10 years ago, you can't really like. You don't have that sense of familiarity. I fucking struggle with that word every time. Familiarity. I don't know, one of them.
It doesn't have the same kind of absurdity to it, I feel, because like they're new enough and insignificant enough that people would like, oh, like, okay, it makes sense. They're just trying to fight for the spot and they're trying to be different. But they're also old enough for it to be like, oh my God.
Did they?
Crazy.
No.
Like, yeah, it would just kind of be the same vein as like when you imagine those like corporate, you imagine like big conservative people on top. And when they do that, it's super surprising.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the intrigue. Like, who approved this? I think that was probably the whole thing.
Yes. Who runs like the marketing department here? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's like that time that we released our marketing budget.
Yeah.
No, our like company budget.
Yeah.
And like everyone reacted to it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So like, if the company is older, we by default assume that the marketing department is also older, kind of thing. Whereas if it's a newer brand, maybe we associate like a younger.
Yeah, because like I want to say that like if you see a new brand, like let's say what's a fucking new brand? Like
I'll let you struggle with this one out.
I want to say like in New Zealand,
Yeah.
it's Clothing.
Yeah.
You don't really, when you think of the people running it, you think of like maybe millennials.
Yeah.
Like that's as old as they get.
Max.
But like McDonald's, even like even brands like Barbie that had like a million years of like legacy. I say million, sorry, that was like exaggeration. But brands like that you immediately associate with white corporate America. Yeah.
Like suits. Like
suits. 50s, like yeah.
Balding, probably. I think I think there's also like there's like a charm to it. Like you've got to be funny with it. You can't just be like dunking on them for the sake of dunking on them. Like Wendy's had this really good thing where like I feel like for every 2 mean tweets they had like 1 super funny tweet, or even in like their meanest tweets, it still had like a bit of humor with it.
Yeah, it's like playful. Like you're not the worst thing that you can do. Well, it's not really the worst thing, but like the most effective way that you can do it is like be on a fine line between like being a little bit sassy and a little bit like on you walk the line on the edge, but you don't actually cross it.
Yep.
So yeah, I think
and
Wendy
that's
did
so
that really
entertaining
well.
to watch that exact thing of like teetering the line.
Yeah. You're just like, oh my god, that's kind of far, but not too far.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Duolingo.
Yes.
One of their comments, like they're big on just their social media pops off, but they're also big on just going out and commenting on other stuff. And one of the things that really put them on the map on social media was like there's this account that said with the user handle England something.
Sure.
And it like said something, and then they responded with like, all right, colonizer, like kind of thing. And then turns out I went to a talk with the lady who runs it, who's the reason why it grew so big.
Yeah.
And she was just like, oh, we made that account.
Yeah.
Like they made the account with the user handle England something, and then replied it themselves. But that popped off and like really got them all
just
over.
to like fabricate that stunt.
Yeah, crazy.
And it worked. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
I love when like, I mean, you see it now more than ever. Whenever like a viral TikTok goes off, all the brands are in the TikTok comments, just like commenting whatever, and they're all trying to like show off like a certain piece of their personality. Like it'd be like the randomest brands. Like we've had, especially on like one of our latest TikToks where Joni fucking popped off doing the Sabrina Carpenter impression.
Yeah.
Like fucking, I want to say Microsoft commented like just a bunch of these like random verified brands that have no place being in the attention seekers comment section are in the attention seekers comment section.
Microsoft sponsor us. We
Send
use we use all your shit.
Yeah. Discount sponsor. If anything, sponsor the app podcast. Like just sponsor this part. I think it's really cool. I think the other thing is that people like crave authenticity. People want to see something real. And I feel like now it's harder than ever to do that because everybody's brand on TikTok or on social media in general is like a little quirky. So how do you stick out even more from that is like the thing I think out loud. But has there like speaking of like brands in general, have you ever been invested in a brand beef on social media?
No, but I mean, if we're talking personal brands, like I love a celebrity love triangle. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure half of it is orchestrated. Like honestly, probably, the Sydney Sweeney one, girl. Yeah. What is that? You are so smart. Well, Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, whatever his name is. Sure. Not important. Sorry, you're really hot. But like they did this movie together, and then everyone was talking about how they had an affair, but they're both kind of like have long-term partners. Sure. Sydney's engaged, and he's married, I think. But they were like both leaning into this whole like controversy around because they're both really attractive people.
Yeah.
So naturally, the public would like
Yeah.
because they're
That makes
co-stars.
sense. Yep.
And the movie's really good. The movie is, I want to say, like up there in recent rom-coms.
What is it called? What's the movie?
What is it? Let me think.
Actually, Sydney Sweeney and who?
Literally don't know,
Glenn?
guys. I forgot. It's one of the biggest movies.
Anyone but you?
Anyone but you.
Yeah.
And yeah, like they really leaned into it, and I feel like a lot of celebrities would just shy away from it, but they really played it up. They like every single promo, like whether they went to a Vogue shoot or anything, they would like do clips of him. And she did like a bit at SNL,
Yeah.
where she's like talking about like, she was addressing the rumors in like part of it,
Yeah.
addressing the rumors, and she was just like, talking about how like, oh, actually like her partner was producing the movie with her.
Yeah.
And she talks about he's my dream man, blah, 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 and he's here today. And then the camera pans to Glenn Powell.
Not her fucking boyfriend or husband.
Yeah.
Oh my days. That's bad.
But it's funny because like he's in on it, she's in on it, and like honestly, it works. It works. She played into like what the public was already saying and what the public was already expecting from her because she's this like bombshell girl.
Yeah.
And like if you look at like search, there's like a graph on like search hits for the name Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
And I think it was done really strategically because like there was Anyone But You that came out in February, and she played that up, and like the graph went like this, and then literally 1 month later, a movie that she produced came out called
the
Immaculate.
substitute. Yep.
And I was just like, girl, you smart as fuck.
No, I think this year she like did everything so well.
Yeah.
Cause like she escaped the allegations of just being like a dumb hot blonde. Like she played everybody a fool pretty much.
Yeah, she escaped the Megan Fox curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Megan Fox dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I think something super similar to that happened with the series Normal People.
Normal People.
Phoebe Bridgers' boyfriend. What's his name?
Whoa, I know Phoebe Bridgers, but that's so niche.
Wait, let's see.
She's a singer, right?
Yeah. Well, she has a
Okay.
boyfriend, no?
No? I don't know. I don't know. All I know about her is like, I'm a river. I'm a river.
This guy? Paul Mescal.
Oh, okay.
And this lady, they're basically like the co-stars of this Normal People season TV show. And he was, I don't know if he still is, but he was with Phoebe Bridgers at the time. And all the rollout had like all the red carpet, the Met Gala and stuff. Like he'd be with his girlfriend and he'd look like neutral.
Yeah.
But the second he'd see his co-star, his face would like lit up and everything. And it caused a frenzy, bro. It caused such a frenzy that people were like, damn, Phoebe's a stronger woman than me. Like, blah, blah. So on and so forth.